In a beloved S-shaped strip of land, Vietnam is a multi-ethnic country with 54 distinct ethnic groups living and fighting together for national construction and defense for thousands of years. In this historical process, culture has generated an invisible power for the country. The combination of 54 ethnic groups has created Vietnamese culture as a colourful, bright, but simple and close picture. Each group represents a unique colour gamut, contributing to the flawless picture. When visiting Vietnam Museum of Ethnology and the windy capital of the ancient northernmost Vietnam base, people can feel great happiness as if they were going along the length of the country. Rong House symbolises strength and prosperity of the village. It is a stilt house with walls, columns, solid rafters, high and steep roof to create a large heart and higher. Internal architecture is decorated elaborately, each gable with two horns and bamboo patterns, sunlight, animals woven into the roof. Truong House, which is the communal house, the heart and a symbol of strength and longevity of the Highland village, is the venue for cultural activities of the central Highland community, such as Heaven God ceremony, celebration of the new rice. This is also the place for a reception for the elder villagers to gather to discuss the important issues and for the youths to gather round to sleep, to learn knitting, archery, gong performances, and hear the stories of village history. The Rong House serves to keep the traditional items like gongs, drums, weapons, and head of festival offering animals. Here besides the house, as soaring acts receiving sunshine and wind, the museum regularly organises gong and other folk art performances. The New Year tree is a symbol of the sun-worshipping arrangement. The carvings on the tree convey various meanings. The rice flower symbolises comfort. The sawtooth represent mountains and hills. The triangles on top signify man and woman's vitality. Therefore, in festive season or tomb house abandoning rite of central Highlanders, the New Year tree in the middle of the communal house to tithe the offered buffalo built in the middle of the field to tie the buffalo offered to the heaven. In addition to the gong cultural heritage, the instrument system and a range of folk dances and epical singings, Central Highlanders hold a very rich spiritual life with distinctive rituals imbued with ethnic cultural identities. With that distinction, the Museum of Ethnic Culture of Vietnam has restored the tomb house in the Barnard's Tomb House abandoning right within the cultural space of Truong Son mountain range, Central Highlands. Highland tomb is one of the inimitable cultures of the Highland ethnic communities that have added to the beauty of architecture, sculpture and religious values of the people in the Central Highlands. The ritual of making funerary house by Central Highlander communicates the same meaning as the king's exhuming, but it has become the exclusive cultural feature of the ethnic minority community in the Highland region. For them, the house, which is interpreted as a symbol of humanity from this world, reveals the desire to build a better life for the deceased in another world. This conception follows the Eastern philosophy according to which the life is immortal, whereas human existence is cyclical. When earthly life ends, the afterworld life begins. Upon entering the village of the Central Highlanders, a sectional division of the residential area between the alive and the dead can be seen. Tomb houses are constantly surrounded by fences and wooden statues. The graves are built in rectangular shapes with the entrance in the east. This is explicated that the east-west road, which links the real world with the heavenly world, is the boundary between life and death. Therefore, the graveyard is always positioned to the east and borders the alives region to the west. To build a tomb, first qualified wood is selected to fabricate pillars and carve statues which are placed around the grave. After the pillar is completed, tomb wall is made by sawn wood or bamboo and lo-o, a typical kind of bamboo in central Highland mountains. Then the tomb house is built following two patterns with two large trapezoid roofs and two small isosceles triangle roofs. The earthen walls are joined tightly with closely straightened wooden pieces, leaving two small doors open to the east. The tomb house typically has 8 wooden pillars supporting the roof, forming 2 vertically aligned columns. The final yet very important step in the erection of the tomb house is making roofs and decorating the house. Most roofs are made of knitted bamboo and have their typical ornamented patterns depending on each ethnic group. Next to the tomb are statues of men and women in different postures, depicting birth as the most popular theme. While the tomb is the soul of tomb house abandoning rite, the roof is the symbolic and distinctive feature of Central Highlands tomb house. Up to now, it has been nearly 20 years since the idea of project was first formed. After such a long period of time, the museum staffs, especially the research staffs, together with the leading researchers on culture and ethnography, could select typical cultural characteristics of the Truong Son mountain range, Central Highlands. Through many conferences, for example, Wrong House, New Year Tree, the statue of elephant and its babies, or the tomb house of Zai people. These are featuring cultural characteristics of the local people residing in the Truong Son mountain range, Central Highlands. On that basis, we first chose typical showpieces and then coordinated with local authorities to select featuring items to display in the Truong Son mountain range, Central Highlands. The museum has various exhibits, including 2 main exhibitions: the indoor display section that we have visited and 6 outdoor exhibition areas. What features in the outdoor exhibition area is the experience of its lives. It means that those objects have been researched by us. Visitors enjoy and experience the exhibition space. For example, for the Truong Son mountain range, Central Highlands, where we are now, the visitors may admire the Wrong House, New Year Tree and the tomb house of Central Highlands ethnic groups. Those are typical, tangible values. Coming to this space, we can step up and visit the Wrong House, look at the living space, dance with gongs, as well as experience intangible cultural activities. On festive occasions, artists of ethnic groups from Truong Son mountain range, Central Highlands region are invited to the museum to perform, or we can learn together when the artists hand down the cultural heritage to the visitors. In my opinion, these are the most positive and direct impacts on the visitors, who will recognize clearly the tangible and intangible culture through the display system of this space. In the cultural space of Truong Son mountain range, Central Highlands culture at the museum, tourists will see images of an elephant and its baby. This elephant group conveys the traditions of hunting and taming elephants of a number of ethnic groups in Truong Son mountain range, Central Highlands region. Domesticated elephants are not only an important means of transportation, but also are valuable possessions and a symbol of Central Highlands village strength. The emblem of a mother elephant and its baby signifies sentiment, nature, human power and pride of the Highlands village. Elephant hunting and taming are the typical economic activities of several ethnic minority in Truong Son mountain range, Central Highlands area. Before the hunting, the hunter's wife must prepare rice, salt and pepper. The hunter himself is responsible for the hunting kit. The most important equipment is the bullskin plate to dangle the elephant's legs and neck. Hunters use an elephant to lure others. When the wild elephant has been lured, the whole herd of elephants split and then gradually close the circle. All the hunters cast their lassos to catch the animal. The wild elephant is tightened to the biggest and strongest domestic elephant when walking back to the village under the surrounding of the domestic elephant herd. Manong ethnic group members have 3 methods to raise and domesticate wild elephants: restraining, deterring, and caring. The domesticated elephant is fed salt and domestic foods, as well as familiarized with the sounds of village life. The boisterous human sounds on festive occasions, pestle beats, the sounds of gongs, cord and lip musical instruments, all of these factors have gradually eased the wild behaviors to make these animals useful for the village. Born and proudly grown in this land, every Vietnamese dreams to once reach all the beloved corners along this S-shaped country. But not everyone can be that lucky. Coming to the Museum of the Cultures of Vietnam's ethnic groups, we can fully experience the cultural zones of 54 ethnic groups. We can understand more about people and land of the Truong Son mountain range, Central Highlands region through the cultural space at the museum. Truong Son Tai Nguyen is emerging in the traditional Rong house images, soaring in the blue sky. Rong house is a type of folk architecture of many ethnic groups in the central Highlands, and it is a unique cultural product as well as a symbol of the Highland woodland. The Rong house, anxious lofty, and as in the old saying about the nation's soul, the patriarch strikes the gong. The Rong soars to reach the sky.